Hey, welcome back to another edition of What You Reading. A lot of you ask me, what are you reading when you're not writing? What do you read for pleasure? What do you read for entertainment? What do you read for research? What do you read to just inform yourself? And I come here, I assume you want the perspective of a world famous, world renowned, world celebrated, multiple New York Times best-selling author, all of which goes to say my opinions is meaningless as anyone else's, but you seem interested. So I picked up volume two of Battle Action. It's a big, fat, oversized edition. I assume reprinting stuff from recent Battle Action stories. But what it really is it's just this absolutely um, glorious collection of stories set in World War II, generally, except for one. And just, some of the best writers, some of the top artists. Uh, Three of these guys I've worked with. PJ Holden, Phil Winslade, and Stas Johnson are here doing what they do best. And it's action packed and cynical, like all British war comics tend to be. There's a dry sense of humor, sometimes a nasty sense of humor to these things. And um, what I like most about, well, I like a lot of things about them, but one of the things I like most about them is the attention to detail, the attention to historical accuracy, weaponry, equipment, uniforms, all the rest of it, insignia. And I think largely this is because not only are the creators of these books geeks for this stuff and they want to get it right, the British comic reading audience was far more discerning and demanding of accuracy in their World War II stuff because building models and wargaming and toy soldiers and all the rest of it was a much more serious endeavor for kids in the UK than it was here in the United States. I think this is due to the fact that the UK really, really suffered during World War II. It impacted them directly, in that, over 100,000 uh, people in the UK died just from the Blitz, and then the massive casualties that they suffered during the war from their soldiers dying was their soldiers died in a greater proportion to the population than the United States did. Not to say that we didn't have losses, but their losses impacted them far more. And I think a lot of these guys grew up sort of close to World War II. They were walking around places, seeing places that were part of the war. We don't have that here, unless you go down to like Cape May and look at the coastal defenses, the submarine spotting stations that are still there. You don't see evidence of World War II in the United States because none of the war was fought here. Yes, I know the Japanese held a couple of Aleutian Islands, but for the most part, the mainland of the United States was not impacted directly by the war. And I think that's one of the reasons that the British comic readers to this day demand a certain, well, not a certain degree, a total adherence to historical accuracy, which for me makes these even more fun, these stories even more fun because I'm not being taken out of the story by anomalies. Now, this is not to say these are dry, by any means, dry retellings of historical events. Now, these stories are wild and crazy. And you've got some top writing talents, as Garth Ennis is here, of course, and Rob Williams and others. And every story in here was a gem. I enjoyed every single one of them. And it is, like I said, it's a big fat volume. There's a lot here. There's terrific stories in black and white and color, stories of the Russian front, and all the rest of it. And I dug it throughout. I really liked the first volume, which was all Garth. And I really like this volume, and I really hope they keep making these because I'm enjoying them. It's making me think maybe I need to subscribe to Battle Action somehow. I would love to read more of this stuff on a more regular basis. But but that's it. You know, good war action stuff that still apparently has an audience today. Is still unlike the American comic book reading public, which is superheroes are nothing. The war comic is still very much alive and very much popular in the UK. Well, I have an apology. I made a mistake in a previous Whatcha Readin where I was reviewing a Mark Bem novel, and I credited him with writing the screenplay for Charade, and that is accurate. But I incorrectly assigned the direction to Blake Edwards, who had nothing to do with Charade. It was directed by Stanley Donen, who was a long-time Hollywood studio director, largely of musicals. And along with many people saying, hey, you got it wrong, doofus, a number of people said, well, I like Charade. What don't you like about it? Well, I'm going to have to rewatch it. What I don't like about it is it's an attempt to make a Hitchcock film without understanding how a Hitchcock film works. And, you know, this would have been probably a great or a medium Hitchcock film in Hitchcock's hands. In Stanley Donen's hands, it lags. But I'm going to have to rewatch it, and I'll come back to it and give you a more recent interpretation or more recent evaluation of the movie. And as much as I don't really want to see it again, my wife really likes this movie. So those of you who really like this movie, you have an ally in my house. So I'll suggest it one night this week, and she'll probably say, yeah, we haven't seen that in a while. And I'll come back and give you a little bit more of what I thought about it. So there you go. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I will keep on reading, and I'll see you down the road.